Good afternoon. Welcome to Dialogue with Dozell. If it's 8 o'clock on a Monday night, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, soon to be Twitter, you know what time it is. It's time for the dialogue. And here we are, Dialogue with Dozell. Hey, happy to be back with you. The lady and I celebrated 43 blissful years of marriage. The boy celebrated his Medicare birthday. So you can figure that out, okay? For those of you all who are approaching that age, you know what that is. We do them all on one day. Yeah, you got married on your birthday. Yeah, so I don't have any issues with remembering my birthday. I ain't crazy. I know how to stay out of trouble. It's the Dialogue on Monday night. We got an exciting show with you tonight, and we're not going to hold up. But I would be too remiss if we didn't start this off right, and that is a serious thank you. Hi, Miss Linda. A serious thank you. Stick around, Miss Linda. A serious thank you to Toya and Kia and all the beautiful ladies over at moregogiggacreations.com. It was a takeover last Monday night, a dialogue takeover, and I actually bought internet on the ship. So Wendy and I bought the internet so that we could see the show live. That's how excited we were to see it last week, because the last time you guys took over, y'all really tried to take over the show, man. Y'all really tried to take it over. So we just appreciate it. And to the producing team of moregogiggacreations.com, man, 2 thumbs up. Hats off to you guys. All the shout outs from Dr. Crab, from our 3 children, for many of our grandchildren, for more friends of the show. We just can't say thank you enough. And if I forgot somebody, I'll catch you, because we're still celebrating. Now, don't tell nobody she's not listening to the show. I was telling her about it. We've been married 42 years. It was actually 43, Coach Curtis Dean. We've been married 43 years, and we'll get ready for that celebration. I'm going to tell you about it a little bit more at the end of the show tonight, but I don't want to hold these guests that we got tonight. The dialogue could not be happier than to have the awesome guests that we have on tonight right now. Attorney Kaysia Earley. Kaysia Earley is just an awesome young lady that I had the opportunity to work while doing voter registrations, and just bring her up right now. We don't want to, but again, Attorney Earley, how are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. How are you?
You absolutely are, and I'm in the same boat. Listen, what we want to do is we want to introduce you. Attorney Earley is running for judge. Did I say judge? Judge. Don't judge me, Linda. She's running for judge, and we're going to let her tell us all about it. Had the marvelous opportunity while working a Juneteenth celebration to meet her and be just fascinated by she and her beautiful family and their whole just a model of a loving family. And since then, I did voter registrations at 3 events where she was, karaoke events, I might add, and had a good time doing them. And I just found her, so y'all just forgive me. I'm a preacher, so just a sister in the Lord, and she's going to tell us a story. Just tell us what you're running for, and just tell us your story, if you would, please. If you could do that in 3 or 4 minutes, we'd appreciate that. It's a fascinating story.
Of course. First, again, I thank you for this opportunity, and happy anniversary, happy birthday, happy celebration, all of that. So yes, my name is Kaysia Earley, and I'm running to be your next Broward County judge. I am a criminal defense attorney. I've also practiced various areas of law, stemming from real estate, civil, family, domestic violence, probate, immigration. And I've been practicing law for the past 7 years. It'll be 8 years, September 30th, I was sworn in. And within those 7.5 years, I have tried over 100 trials to verdict. And I've been named the top 10 attorney by the National Trial Lawyers Association for Criminal Defense. Top 40 under 40, lawyer of distinction. As you can see behind me, boop, 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 boop. There's a bunch of awards that I've had the pleasure of earning. But my story does not begin there, obviously. I went to Howard University, go HU, Bison, located in Washington, D.C. And, you know, when I was in college, I was working various jobs because I did not have the financial means, nor did my mother. She was a single parent, to pay for my college tuition. And one of my 3 jobs, I was working at a shoe store. And at the shoe store, my friends found out where I was working. And of course, they would come into the store, come to my register. I would heavily discount the shoes. And it was considered an embezzlement because anything 18 years ago, over $200 was considered a felony. Now that's a misdemeanor. So in addition to me being fired from this job, I was also sentenced to a period of incarceration. And while I was incarcerated, I was pregnant with my son at the time. And, you know, at that point in my life, it was really the lowest point because I had just graduated, being the first generation in my entire family to graduate from college. And then now I'm in jail with other inmates or other criminals. It was a very sad situation, but it was also a humbling situation. And it afforded me the opportunity to reevaluate my life. And 18 years later, stand before you as a judicial candidate. Who would have thought? But for the goodness and grace and mercy of God, I'm here today to share my story.
Oh, bless you! And what a story it is. Did you mention that God told you while you were that this was not going to stop you?
Yeah. Okay. So during my time of incarceration, there's a set schedule of when you're supposed to eat, when you wake up, what you do. They control your entire life because you're in jail. So your breakfast is about around 5 o'clock in the morning. And your body is trained. There's a buzzer that opens your door, and you have to open your door to get your tray of food. And on this particular day, when my buzzer opened, I'm getting out of my bed as usual, but my knees were weak, and I felt myself kind of falling over to the concrete floor. And in a split second, I had a decision. Either I fall on my knees, and I know I'm going to hurt my knees, or if I fall on my belly to buffer the fall, I'm going to hurt my unborn child. So obviously, I'm a mom. I chose to protect my unborn child. And as I fell on my knees, I'm crawling to the door to get my food. And that's where I had my encounter with Christ. And it was at that very moment, the Spirit of the Lord revealed to me, because I was planning on what I was going to do when I get out. I just kind of gave up on my dreams of becoming a lawyer. And God spoke to me. He said, if you rededicate your life back to me, you will be a lawyer. He didn't tell me when. He didn't tell me how long. He just said, rededicate your life, because I was raised in the church. But when I went to college, I didn't have time for God. I didn't have time to go to church. I didn't have time to fellowship with the saints. So I did. After I got out of jail, my husband and I, he was my boyfriend at the time, we got baptized together. We rededicated our lives back to Christ. And we got married. And when I got married, I think I was 9 months pregnant. And I walked down that aisle. We made it right. And my son, who I was pregnant with, is a star football player, a star academic, a scholar. He's just a great kid. All of my children are blessed. And these are the promises of God. I know you said you're a pastor, but let me tell you something. When God moves in your life, He's just so amazing and so awesome, because his promises are yea and amen. And he's a God that cannot lie.
Amen. Amen. Oh, it blesses me, and I'm sure it blesses our viewers to hear this. You saw me texting, just got a word from Kim Des, my brother who does a show with me. He is regretful that he's not here. He may get on a little later. He had an emergency that kind of stood in the way. I really wanted him to meet you, but he'll get that opportunity. Judge, what is it that maybe I'm getting ahead of my question, but what is it that causes you to want to run for judge? And I know you're limited on responses, but you've been in the criminal justice system as a criminal defense attorney. And what are some of the things that precipitated you wanting to make this run?
Well, my goal to become a future judge is for various reasons, in no particular order. One of the reasons, we lack diversity on the bench. In Broward County, we have over 2 million residents. There's 1.5 million registered voters. And out of that, we only have 6 Black females on the bench out of 90. This is just absolutely horrible. The statistics should reflect the community, and clearly it does not. So when I'm elected, I will be number 7. And the goal is to get more diversity on the bench. And when I say diversity, I'm talking about Black females, Black males. We need some Latinas on the bench. We need a diverse bench to reflect the community. Another problem and reason why I decided to run is because I've noticed a trend in Broward County. Now, remember, I told you I've tried 100 trials and non-jury trials in 7 years. So that means I've gone for numerous judges. And I've realized that there's some rude judges out there. I don't know what it is about this Black robe, but you are a human just like we are. We're officers of the court. So there's a level of respect that should be given no matter what. And I've seen these judges talk down to not only attorneys, but defendants and pro se litigants. And I think that that is deplorable. That is not civility. And that is not professional. And I want to raise that standard, raise that bar, because no matter what, you can't get me out of character because God is love. And that if that's your foundation, no one can push you over the edge. And then another reason I chose to run is to be that example, because it shows that no matter what you go through in life, no matter what your circumstance is, we serve a God that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all we can ever ask, think, or imagine. So for me to go from the jailhouse and rededicate my life back to God's house, to the courthouse, to the bench, this is a story of redemption, and it's a miracle that God has made in my life.
Attorney Earley, and one of the things doing voter registration drives and the karaoke events that I had the blessed opportunity to serve at were so exciting. There was so much energy, and you would hear every time your voice amongst everybody who was there. Every time you spoke, you would say, "Vote early." No, you would say, "My name is Kaysia Earley," and the crowd would retort, "Vote early for Early."
Early, that's right.
Just so much energy, and I want to say to our viewers in Dozell, what you're seeing is what you get. This is not a testimony. I've been in the church all of my life, and I've been in ministry. T.D. Jakes and I've been in ministry the same number of years. Our birthdays are about the same time, and he almost preaches as good as I do. Don't say nothing, Linda. But being in the church, you see jailhouse confessions, you see short-term testimonies, but hers is consistent. Not only from the events that I've worked, registration drives, and she's been there, but also at other places that I have gone, other venues that I've gone, and it's the consistent testimony. And my conversation with her truly reflects. I want to just share with you, I graduated high school at 16, and of course I started driving at 16, and I had 2 early accidents. The second one, my dad kind of said, my dad was a tough old boy. He was an ex-Marine and ran a boys' home. And he kind of said to me, he said, you on your own in this one. He knew every judge in Duval County, and all that took was a phone call. But on the second one, I went there just trembling. I don't know if I was more in fear of facing the black robe judge or my dad after the fact. But that judge dealt with me, a 16-year-old kid who had 2 accidents in about 2 months, I think it was. haven't been the person that did an accident since then, I don't think. That judge dealt with me with such compassion. He was a white male judge in Duval County. Let me get all those demographics out. But he dealt with me in such compassion. He literally could have broken me as a young man, as a young person, as a young driver. And it was the treatment that I got from him. He dealt justice, but it was the way he did it. And so to hear you say that you want to get on the bench and so that people will not be treated rude, I just think you don't have to be rude. In 7 years as a policeman, I would like to think that I was that gentle giant. I didn't get complaint. I pride myself on not getting complaints for having abused people. And I think that can be judicial abuse because we're hearing that on TV right now, right? But so I just think it's great to hear you say that. And the diversity piece, Broward County is so diverse. We are blessed to live in one of the most diverse cities, areas in all of America. And it would be criminal for us not to reflect that diversity. I want to ask you, can you speak a little bit about the voting process of us? This is an off-year election, and we're hitting it hard as far as voter registration. Would you just impress upon us our need to get out and vote?
Yeah, let me go over some statistics because I educate my volunteers on a daily basis. So early voting has started on Saturday. It started on August 13th, and it goes all the way until August 21st. Now, remember, this is an off election. So for those of you who are uncertain about that terminology, that means the president is not up for re-election. And oftentimes people only vote when the president is on the ballot. That's called a national or a nationwide election. But your local elections matter more. You have county commissioners, you have mayors, you have school board members, you have judges on the ballot. These are the people that you will interact with on a daily basis. The president is on a greater scale. Now, out of 1.5 million registered voters, as of today, there were only 86,000 mail-in ballots and only 9,800 people participated in early voting. That is less than 7.5% of those who are registered. I am blown away by the lack of participation because you're basically saying, you know what, I'm too busy. There's 3 ways that you can vote. You don't even have to go in. You can request a mail-in ballot. You can mail it in. And if you don't trust the mail-in, you can drop it off at the 2 supervisor of election locations, one downtown, one in Lauderhill. Or you can participate in early voting. There's 23 sites. Or you can vote on the day of, which is August 23rd. So I'm hoping that we can increase that because we really need educated voters to go to the ballot. And if you don't do anything else, you're doing a great disservice to yourself and to your community. If you shade in the name and you have not at least Googled and researched, if you have not attended in forums, know who you're voting into office. Don't go by what I said. Don't even go by my website. I challenge everyone to Google my name and type in Sun Sentinel next to it and Google my opponent. I am overly qualified for this position, and it's overdue that we have people who have empathy on bench, not sympathy, because the criminal justice system is meant to punish and deter people from constantly committing crimes. But you can render just punishment in a respectable manner, or you can render just punishment without the solution always being incarceration. So please make sure you vote. Your vote counts, your vote matters, and do it today or tomorrow.
Attorney Earley, is it just you and an incumbent opponent? Is that how this race is shaping up?
Yes, so it's just me and the incumbent. And when I get 50% plus 1, so not 51%, all I need is 50% plus 1 additional vote. I do not have to do the runoff, which is in November. I've won the primary and I'll be sworn in January. So we're not even thinking November. We're thinking landslide. We're thinking no recount. It's going to be too obvious to do that recount. But I'm asking everyone, there's time. If you registered to vote already by July 25th, please make sure you vote early for early.
There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
It's the clapping for me.
And,
Okay.
and that's the work of moregogiggycreations.com doing their job in a great way. Judge, we're going to get you out of here in just a second. I just want to.
Judge to be. Judge to be.
Did I call you Judge? Oh, I am so sorry. Forgive me. So
There's
sorry.
judicial canons out there. I know that we're faith talkers, we're faith believers, but we all know, the public knows, I have not been elected. Thank you, landslide for sure, Dr. Crab.
Dr. Crab. Dr.
Crab.
Crab has just been a great brother. I have been, and I've got another meeting tomorrow night, but I catch a show after the fact, which a lot of people will be doing our show tonight after the fact. And we'll probably boost this because we want this to get out to everybody. Attorney Crab, before you sign off, and I want to ask you this: what would you say? You led on it. Miss Linda can attest to it. That's my sister. That's Latoya Glenn, the producer. That's her aunt. Not really, but you know how we do the fake thing.
Yes.
We do. I almost did a doctorate.
We're all connected, okay?
That's it. And we just leave it at that. Dr. Crab, you're an awesome brother, He was at the forums, and that's where I met him. He did an awesome job on our show, and he's connected with the production team. I want you, before you sign off, to just speak a word of positivity. You came from behind the 8 ball, the first generation in your household, in your family. Then you had the unfortunate experience. It was the providence of God that propelled you to where you are now on the thrust of becoming a judge. Would you please speak to our young people about aspirations to go to law school? I heard somebody say that somebody just told them to go to law school. They never had the aspiration, and they went in there. They're doing quite well now. Could you just talk to our young people about attaining to such?
Absolutely. It's imperative that we all have mentors. That's why I chose to be a mentor to 25 young ladies, because I wanted to instill in them that we need more diversity, even in the legal profession, not just on the bench. We need more Black lawyers, we need more Black prosecutors. So I have been named Broward County Mentor of the Year simply because of my dedication and pro bono service. I'm glad that I had all these obstacles to face, because you wouldn't see God as a healer if he didn't do anything for you. I didn't see God as a way maker, a miracle worker, because at the time I never experienced something like I did. But now that I've overcome so many obstacles, I'm talking about a single parent household, being incarcerated. Even when I was in law school, I don't talk about this much. I don't know, sometimes it escapes me, but I was homeless. I remember when I was in law school, we were renting out a house, and the ceiling collapsed and the city gave us 3 days to go somewhere. I'm like, where am I going to go? So there was obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. But one thing that remained constant and consistent in my life is Christ, because I'm not trying to indoctrinate no one, but I know what God has done for me. Because when you have a strong foundation, there will be things that you go through in life, or you're going through something currently, or you're coming out of something just to go into something else. But your relationship with Christ has to be consistent. And once you have that consistent relationship with Christ, you'll have the strength to weather the storm. And I'm a firm believer that all things work together for the good for those that love God and who are called according to his purpose. So God is so perfect that he allowed me to go to jail. He had the power over that judge, for that judge to give me probation. But he knew that if I had probation, I probably would not have been so zealous for my clients today. He allowed my incarceration, my single parent household, to be worked out for my good. And this is why I know that we need kingdom in the courtroom. We need kingdom in the bench. We need godly people in the courthouse. And for those of you who are out there saying, you know what, I already messed up in life, I have a record, or my dad or mom left me and I came from a broken home. Well, I've overcome all of those obstacles. So if I could do it through Christ, so can you. So if you don't remember anything else from this interview, know that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Amen. That's a word.
Attorney Earley, I had to catch myself. I almost called you that word again. Thank you so much. If you want to stick around and watch the balance of the show, if you want to stay in the green room and come on at the end, we're going to have Nikki Fried on in a few minutes, and she's going to spend about 15 minutes with us. That's your choice, but thank you for coming on and for the inspiration. And you will be back as well. I can't say it, but we'll be talking to you later on. Thank you so much.
Vote early for early.
That's what she says. Vote early for early. God bless, and thank you so much. Here.
Bye.
Bye bye now. A word from our sponsor, and then I'm coming on with the and then I'll be right back on. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. This is the group that keeps us going. All the work. You see all the work of this awesome GoGigCreations.com team. You see all of their great works, and we're inviting you to just GoGigaWorld.com. Check them out. Let them do your virtual production work. We're waiting on Judge Fried, but let me just take a second and do a shout out tonight. Tonight's halftime break is a shout out. It's a shout out tonight let's see our first person. Tonight is a shout out to Attorney General Merrick Garland. It's not to a person, but it's for principle. A.G. Garland was deprived, no, he was robbed of a spot on the Supreme Court by the hypocritical right, who will have to make his peace, and I'll just leave it with that. The former head of the Senate, what's his name? I can't even think of his name. I don't even want to call his name. He deprived him, and then right before the former guy was elected, was voted out of office, he rushed through a nomination to tilt the high court to the far right. Attorney Garland, you just made a great decision. It was not based on politics. It was not based on favor, but it was based on the national security of the United States of America. So we shout you out tonight. The dialogue shout you out for principle, for standing on principle. Keep doing the good work. Right always wins on the scale. The universe is always on the side of right. Or to say it theologically, God is always on the side of the righteous. The shout outs continue tonight. Not for persons, but for people who stand on principle. Dozell, what? You're giving right-wing darling Liz Cheney a shout out? I sure am. Liz Cheney, you have stood on principle. First, you voted for the impeachment of the former guy. We won't call his name on this show. You voted on principle for him to be impeached after the January 6th debacle in the Capitol, the insurrection that almost destroyed our democracy. You voted on principle, and you knew the peril. You knew that you could be primaried by the former guy, which you are. And tomorrow it doesn't look good. The last poll results show that you're going to be defeated handily. But you know what? When you stand on the side of right, you're never wrong. Liz Cheney is now serving as the co-chair for the January 6th committee. She stands with the Democrat, and they're doing an awesome job exposing all of the craziness that went on that day. Liz Cheney for standing up for the right, standing up for not right wing, standing up for the right, standing up for justice, standing up for democracy. The dialogue shouts you out. We shout them out for standing on principle. I see our guest is here tonight, and we're more than enthused tonight to have with us Commissioner of Agriculture, Nikki Fried. If you'll just bring her up, Commissioner. I know that position got. How are you doing? We're so grateful to have you with us tonight.
I'm so glad to be here, and I'm sorry I'm in an airport, but I wanted to make sure that I did not miss you tonight.
We are so glad to have you and that you did not miss us. Listen, what pushed you to make this run for governor? I know you're up against some serious obstacles, or let me say, serious opposition.
It's something that I was fundamentally taught when I was a young kid. And I'm from the Jewish faith, and we call it tikkun olam, to heal the world. That when we are taught that we're supposed to do good for the people that we are surround ourselves with, that we're supposed to stand up, that I was taught to stand up against bullies, to stand up against injustice. And I just couldn't sit back. I've been, our only member of the Florida cabinet, only statewide elected Democrat. And I've seen what this guy is doing, dividing our state, putting hate into people's hearts and dividing us, creating culture wars. And people are hurting, and I just couldn't sit back and watch anymore. So every day I wake up and I'm inspired by the people that I meet every day, and we are going to win this, and we are going to fight like heck until we do.
We have, haven't we experienced enough divisiveness from the national level? And this guy is a protege or a mentee of the former guy, and look like he's taking it to the next level.
Yep.
Explain for some of us the fundamental differences between you and your Democratic primary opponent, Charlie Crist.
Everything. First of all, I've been a Democrat since I was 17 years old. I have been elected office as a statewide elected Democrat. I have been fighting for issues my entire life. From when I was growing up in high school, I was doing soup kitchens and Habitat for Humanity. I've been a past public defender. I fought for homeowners during the foreclosure crisis. What you see is what you get. I'm not going to change my stripes because I saw a poll. I've been a fighter, I've been a champion, and I've won. I'm the only one in this race who can say that I've won our state as a Democrat. And, all of the issues that we're fighting on today, whether it's homeownership and affordable housing, to a woman's right to choose, to our education system, just to the bare basics of our economy. He's been on the wrong side of all those issues, all the criminal justice issues, on the wrong side. And we can't, as Floridians, forget that. And so I'm a woman of my word, and I fight for what I believe in. And unfortunately, my primary opponent has gone back on literally every single issue. And unfortunately, the Democratic Party is hurt a lot because of the decisions that he's made in his political career.
You are a fighter, and I think we understand that. And you've also spoken to the fact that the polls are against you. What the last clear politics poll that I saw showed you substantially behind. How will we make this up in the next week, literally?
First of all, that is a fake poll that Charlie put out. The actual polls that are out there showed us absolutely tied. So those polls were from landline. Yeah, so those were landline polls that were done and skewed by somebody he paid. The actual polls and show us tied, if not winning. So we are very confident that this Nikki wave, Nikki momentum, enthusiasm that we're seeing all across our state, the organicness of our campaign, the grassroots. I didn't go after elected officials. I went after the Black Caucus. I went after the LGBTQ caucus. I went after the people that have been doing the work on the ground. And that momentum and that grassroots campaign is coming through. And after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, women across our state want to support a female to run for governor of our state and to be a governor. And so we are seeing that momentum shift significantly moved the polls 25 points after Roe.
Wow.
And so we're feeling that on the ground. And so we are going to win this race. I have complete confidence in that.
What do the polls look like? And by the way, we did reach out to the Crist campaign, and they have not responded to be back with us in all fairness. How do the polls show you stacking up against that guy, Tallahassee now?
So on those polls, head to head, and this is something that came out, I want to say sometime next week, that both Charlie and myself are down roughly about 4 points, give or take, but we feel that's a margin of error. And that's before we win this primary. And the momentum and excitement that we get, we have been, as you just heard, we have been counted out the entire time. We've been the underdog, and we kept fighting, and we kept showing up, and we kept talking and kept inspiring. And so when we win the primary, that excitement is going to catapult us on a national scale, that everybody's going to be paying attention to Florida. And that's when the polls close. And he has gone so radical and so divisive that the only thing that we can do is win. As long as we stay on message, we build a coalition that is of the people, that he has humiliated, that he has attacked, that he's gone after. He's taken rights away from almost every part of our state, from our Black voters, for LGBTQ, to our women, to our Hispanic community, to our teachers, you name it, he has made an enemy of. And all we have to do is organize, give them a reason to vote for us. And I feel there's something going on here in our state that we're gonna win in November.
Governor Freed, I'm sorry, Commissioner Freed.
That's okay.
Commissioner Freed, I kind of take offense to this, and it kills me. There's so many things I want to respond to. The hypocrisy we saw last week nationally when a certain search warrant was served, and the same people that were against my people and Black Lives Matter, with the cry defund the police, now theirs is defund the FBI because this guy who has broken the law. Well, I won't get into that. But the Junior here in Florida, who has been an embarrassment to us, I'm just embarrassed, and I'm going out on a limb. I know this is not very objective or commentator like, but it's embarrassing as a fellow minority that he has basically sold minorities out. The law, which I understand, and you can tell me that I understand, is unconstitutional, where he has forbidden us to, and that could go for anybody, any people pushing any right. Those that are complaining about what happened last week could even do this. He's passed a law that prohibits basically us from protesting, because all somebody's got to do is drop a bottle. An Asian provocateur could get in the protest, drop a bottle, and everybody could be arrested.
Yeah, and that was their point. That was their point. They didn't pass that law after January 6th. They passed that law after BLM. And we know exactly. And they said, oh, it's not discriminatory. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry, I'm calling BS on that. They know what they were doing. They were doing that to make people scared to protest, to actually go out on the streets and protest the exact things that they are doing. And so we fought hard. I absolutely deem that by the time that the Supreme Court gets that decision, it's going to be overturned. And let me tell you, when I am your next governor, you better believe that I am going to be on the side of the people, and I will put the full weight of the governor's office behind repealing that law and making sure that fundamental right that is in our Constitution, that so many people in our American history marched and protest and were beaten and some killed for our rights to speak, our rights of freedom, and our rights to vote. And over my dead body, am I going to let us go backwards? And so you've got a fighter here, and that is something that we're going to need all the way to November.
My brother and I usually do this show. He had an emergency right before we came on. He's not but our daddy is still fighting us. He's a retired Jacksonville police officer, and he didn't not about fighting, but he stood up for what was right. And we just love champions of justice. I want to ask you two quick questions, and then we'll get you out of here. The first one is Florida ready for a non-male governor?
Absolutely. First of all, everybody kept saying that, in 2018 when I ran for commissioner, we had never had a female commissioner of agriculture in the history of the state of Florida, and not just Florida, but the entire Southeast. I'm the only female elected in the entire country, and was able to flip a seat by 20 points, almost 1 million votes. Wow. Everybody thought that was impossible. So we did it, and we showed up. And what we've been able to do in the last 3.5 years is show the people of our state what a Governor Freed looks like. During the pandemic, when the governor went MIA, was saying the pandemic was behind us, I showed up. I did press conferences almost every single day, whether inside the cabinet room or inside my office. And I showed people what it looks like to have a female governor of the state of Florida. I know that we are ready, and I know the women across our state are excited. I'll just tell a story. I was at an event tonight, and as I was leaving, there was a woman. She was probably about 39, 40 years old, and she had her daughter who was about 13 with her. And she brought her daughter over to me and says, I just want you to meet Nikki Freed. She's running for governor of the state, and said to her daughter, you can be anything you want to be. Wow. That is what we are seeing here. And so I think that women are coming to the polls. They're seeing that excitement, and we can do this.
Governor, I'm doing it again. I'm sorry. Commissioner Freed, when is the last time, and I'll get you out on this question, when is the last time a Democrat has been in what we call a governor's cabinet, but it's based really a statewide elected officer he doesn't appoint? When is the last time a Democrat has occupied a position like that?
So prior to me was Alex Sink. But the last time statewide one was Barack Obama in 2012. And prior to that was 1994. So since 1994, there's only been 2 members of the Florida cabinet that have been Democrats, and both of them are women.
Okay, I don't know if you're able to monitor the screen, but you're getting buku, as we would say in our community, buku positive comments. We're gonna get you out. We're gonna get you out on this. What would you like to say to our viewers here in Dozell before signing off?
Well, before I sign off, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on tonight. And again, I apologize that I'm in the airport, but it's a big state. So this is what I want to say to the people who are watching. Look, I know I can win. I know I can win. I've got the energy. I've got the spirit. I've got the heart for what is necessary to win this election. And I've done it. I did it. I overcome obstacle after obstacle. Everybody has counted me out in this election. Everybody from elected officials to the pundits to the lobbyists to everybody has counted me out. And we're still here. We're standing. This is what it looks like to win. And so I'm asking you all, if you haven't checked out my website, haven't followed me on my social media, check us out. I'm not a career politician. I haven't been doing this for 30 years. I continue to wake up every day and want to serve the people of our state. So let's try something new. See the something new hashtag on the screen. Let's try something new. And certainly follow me and go to my website, nikkifried.com. That's NIKKIFRIED. If you want to volunteer, there's plenty of incredible opportunities to do so. And let's do this. So if you haven't had a chance to vote, early voting is happening all across the state of Florida. If you've gotten your ballots, turn them in. Election day is August 23rd. And on that night, you are going to nominate a fighter here that's going to take our fight to November.
Commissioner Freed, thank you for sharing your absolute exuberant amount of energy with us tonight, your vision for our state, and your love for the diversity of what Florida really is. And just thank you for stopping by tonight. We appreciate you, and we're looking for, let me just say this, best wishes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic night. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, what we're going to do right now, we have a few minutes remaining. We're going to ask the production team, let's see that Go Giga commercial one more time. And because we want to shout them out. They have done an outstanding job. Just go ahead. If you're able to pull that on, let's have that commercial back. That music is just awesome. That music is awesome. We want to shout them out because they do a great job in making the dialogue look good. I was looking at one of the shows that the team was on, and I heard Toya, well, they're all my Toyas, but my daughter Toya, saying how we started during the pandemic doing this show, just one little short, fat, bald-headed man in front of a camera on social media, and how the production team just got us, cleaned us up, presents us, makes us look far better than we ever are. And we're just all too grateful. Listen, tonight has just been an awesome night. Two awesome young ladies. It'll come to a point where we won't have to single out a gender or a gender a race, or orientation, a background. We'll just say an awesome person. But I don't have a problem tonight saying two awesome young ladies, because I am encouraged by the energy that they exuded and the passion for what they're about and what they're trying to do, and the The bottom line is service. That's what I see. I just see service. These are servant hearts. And the last thing I heard from Nikki Fried was that she's not a career politician. She just has a heart to serve the people. And I love both of them spoke of diversity. And in this diverse society, how can we ever go back to an old man white network again? We can't do that. So you're not hearing me endorse a candidate. You probably got an idea where I'm leaning, but I'm not endorsing a candidate. I wouldn't be a good host if I did that. However, I just appreciate what we heard. Somebody asked me in the general election, are you going to get the other guy on, the guy in Tallahassee now? Yeah, we'll give him an opportunity. We'll get against whoever the Democratic nominee, whether it's Nikki Fried or Charlie Crist. We'll try to get them both on and on different days. It won't be a debate format, of course. We'll try to get them both on. But tonight he's running unopposed, so there was no need for him to come on. We did hear back from the Crist campaign. Nikki Fried readily came on. They made special provisions. You see her; she's in transit. She's in an airport, and she adjusted her schedule to be with us. So one of the more monumental nights of the dialogue tonight. And Attorney Earley, just what a beautiful spirit. I don't know, but if I got to face justice, I want somebody that I think is going to treat me with some righteousness and do it that way. I want to go back to last week. So y'all got me talking. I was hoping that we could get Dr. Cobb on, but we asked producers to reach out to him. He asked to come on. We reached out to him. Maybe he will in the next few minutes that we got on, or maybe not. But I want to talk a little bit about what happened last week. As you all know, we were celebrating that 43rd anniversary. We were on the high seas, and we did a strange thing. We get off the boat. We left out of Port Canaveral. We got off on day 2, which was right down here in the Bahamas. We got off. We got off, and I spent some time in the therapeutic warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean. And we did not get off the boat until we returned to Port Canaveral on Sunday. Never done that before, but had the time of our lives. Thank you, all of you, for your well wishes. And we're going to close out a little special tonight with a lifelong member of my wife, best friend of my wife, and of course, a friend of mine at the end of the show. But I just want to kind of speak briefly on the hypocrisy of what we saw last week. And I'm going to speak more in-depthly in the weeks to come. So we've had the right-wing Republicans, all of the crazies, all of they told me not to say what I want to say, but all of those who come out of the hills and the woodwork, who supported the former guy, all of those, you saw them at the Capitol. You saw attorneys, you saw retired police officers, you saw every matter of person who was there. And we saw them, and we saw what they were doing. If you're able, Toya, send him a link that he can get on. If not, he'll come back on later. But I was going to have some closing commentary. So those are the guys who came down on everybody who came up with the idea of defunding the police. They stuck it to Black Lives Matter in 2020. We're going to do a 2020 show one night and look back at everything that occurred in that monumental year. But they stuck that on Black Lives Matter and said that they were the ones that were calling for defunding the police, and how atrocious that was, and Back the Blue and all of this stuff. And, you know, my partner here on this show, he and I both former police officers. He was a retired police officer. And after going through all of that, we saw all of that attributed to the protest movement. We could say the protest movement and not limit it, but they tried to make it out like it was Black Lives Matter. Well, circa 2 years later, and when the FBI is moving in the interest of this nation's national security, that I don't want to say anything libelous here, but at the very least could put us in a very compromised position for whatever reason. I don't know what's the purpose, was influence, cash, whatever. You draw your conclusions. When this was done, and the FBI did what they were called to do, what they are sworn to do. I'm a former police officer, so I know about wearing that badge and being sworn to do something. They came down on them. Unreal, unbelievable, unheard of. and ask that we defund the FBI. Ron Paul out of Kentucky, others defund the FBI. Can you believe that? Not saying the FBI is flawless. I remember Dr. King's assassination, so I'm not saying it's flawless. I remember J. Edgar Hoover. I'm not saying it's flawless, but acting in the national security of this nation. All right, I'm through with that. We'll talk about that more. I was just about to ask Dr. Crab to come on, but it went out on us. So anyway, these are the things that we look at, and I had intermittent internet over the last week, but when I looked at it, I was like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? You got to be joking. These are the same guys that 2 years ago that were coming down on anybody who protested. It's unbelievable. So this is why tonight's shout out went to, bring Dr. Crab on, please, real quick. We have about 2 minutes. This is why tonight's shout out went to Liz Cheney. If you can believe this guy is shouting out Liz Cheney and Merrick Garland for people who stand on principle. Dr. Crab, what do you think of tonight's show? We got about 2 minutes. What do you think of tonight's show?
Oh my God, it was awesome and so informative. I'm glad to see that, the candidates that I favored were there tonight. So, I mean, it was an awesome show. Awesome.
Thank you for you and your family's part in making that possible. Tonight's interview with Nikki Fried, just a beautiful, warm spirit, man. You know, if this is not to go around, her star is high. She's got a great history in front of her.
Yes.
What's going on with you these days? I know you always got something in the fire.
Well, this Friday I'm going to be on the Judge Joe Brown show on iTunes.
Oh wow.
Yes, and the 25th of this month, they are actually honoring me for my accomplishments and my contributions to the community. It's going to be the mayor and vice mayor of Hollandale. It's going to be it's going to be about 10 other people beside myself that are going to be honored that night. Different leaders of different organizations that are representing ex-convicts that are coming out of incarceration. But I am the honoree for that night. But it's going to be a blast, and certainly you're invited. And of course,
when is that, Doc?
This is the 25th, Thursday, the 25th of this month.
Thank you.
It's going to be at Smitty's. Smitty's on Citron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome venue.
Yes.
I'll be there. I'll take my calendar. I think I'm free. I will be there.
Come early because it's going to be standing room only.
Okay, so I'll get to see you twice next week because I'll actually be doing voter registration at the event next Tuesday night.
Well, they couldn't open the voters booth early enough for me. I've already voted.
Well, you know what? I almost we left out of here the other day, and I unfortunately misplaced an item, and I was looking for it, and it ran us a little close for time. And it was in my mind that early voting started last Sunday when we got out of here. So I made a last second. The car started towards the Lauderhill Mall to vote, and I made a last second. I said, okay, I'll do it when we get back, because for some reason I thought that was the end of early voting, and it was just the beginning. So that turned out to be the right thing because I would have been going there for naught. So listen, Judge,
it started Saturday, and it's been booming everywhere we go. The polls are full. People are out. They are voting, and they know who they're voting for. I mean, it's nobody coming in there confused. Very few people need help, and it's awesome.
Please, Doc, tell us before you get out of here tonight. Tell us about what a privilege it is as a returned citizen to have the privilege to vote.
Now, let me tell you, at one time, being an ex-convict did not allow you the right to vote. But thanks to Amendment 4, we were able to vote. And as soon as I was able to vote, I hurry up and got that sticker right here on my chest. So it is such a privilege to be able to vote. And anyone that hasn't registered to vote, they can contact me as well. Ex-Cons Living in the World Today is my organization, and Ex-Cons Matters is my movement.
Thank you so much, Doc. And tomorrow night, you're on what time?
I'm on 7:30. It's going to be live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch International TV. It's called the Doctor Speaks Variety Show. It's going to be awesome. We have a U.S. Senate candidate. We have a judge running for a re-election. We have an awesome participation from a member of the community who's doing awesome things. And we have a special interview with Kaysia Earley. This is exclusive.
Awesome. I always have to catch you late because Tuesday night is another meeting night for me. But you'll see me. God bless you, Doc. God bless your family, man. And thank you.
Looking for you to come on the show, Brother Dozell.
It'll be just a matter of a week or two.
Yes, okay.
Thank you so kindly, my brother. Thanks for coming on tonight with us.
Yes, sir. Always.
Bless you, sir. Bless you.
Bless you.
We're getting ready to get out, but the way I see it, this is a feature that my brother Kim started on the show, and I just regret that he's not able to be here tonight. As I see it, here's how I see it. We just heard a brother, we call it a return citizen. He put it in the raw. He said an ex-con who exuberantly, excitedly expressed his desire and his appreciation to be a part of the process and voting. And my hat's off to him and all of the others who we have registered through the fears that they had of being arrested at the polls, because this governor has put basically his own police force to intimidate people to keep them from voting. But it's brave souls like Dr. Crabb who press on and relish their vote, relish that right to vote. Now, I want to say to everybody who's listening out here tonight, do not let next week go by. In fact, early voting is right now. Go tomorrow and vote. It's too precious of a right. We have had too many people shed their blood, even die, because to win the right for us to vote. So as I see it, two ladies who, 50 years ago could hardly even qualify to vote or to run. And now one is running for the highest seat in the state of Florida. And the other one, as far as I'm concerned, is running for the highest seat in our local community here in Broward County because of the lives that she's able to touch. The way I see it, there's nothing like service. Theologically, once our souls have been saved, the next thing that's required of us, of our Maker, is that we become servants. And there's nothing more noble than servanthood. And you heard Nikki Fried talk about being a servant for the people. So as I see it, hats off to both ladies and to everybody in public service who runs to represent and to serve the good people of wherever they serve. Again, tonight's dialogue was brought to you by moregogiggedcreations.com. And last week, I just want to shout out my daughter and her team again so much. And there's so much I want to say about that team. There's some things that they got in on the chalkboard that when it comes out, in fact, my daughter has doubled it, inspired me every time I think about the pandemic's over, nobody's watching this show. We don't have the numbers we used to have. She gives me inspiration. She doesn't even have to say no, Daddy. She just says something to me, and it just doubly inspires me. Well, I'm inspired again by what they are cooking up, what's coming down the pipe. You'll be hearing about it in weeks, months to come. But just our appreciation. But thank you for the honor that you all gave us on last week. Every time there's a dialogue takeover by that team, you don't want to miss it, because I mean, these ladies are fascinating. Last week, they put together this tremendous tribute, and we're going to leave the night with this tribute from my wife's childhood friend, best friend, and a friend of our family. Just roll the tape, and we'll see you next.
Well, we had Montel Williams. We had, what's the other guy? Brian Gumble, Roland Martin. Now we got dialogue with Dozell. See, I always knew you wanted to be in the talk show circuit. And hallelujah, God made a way for you to do it. I just want to celebrate you, big brother, on your 70th birthday. Oh, 70? Okay, 65. Just want you to know that you are thought of, you are prayed for, you are appreciated, and you are loved. So I want this talk show thing to blow up. So you'll be able, the next time you and Wendy go out on the water, you'll be able to take the entire family, of which I am a part of. So happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dozell. I love you. Hey, Wendy, I love you. Enjoy yourself. I'm trying to walk off some COVID fat. All right. I holla.